Hey guys, welcome back to the Joe Silverback Show. I'm your host, Joe Bunton, and today I'm going to be responding to a lot of comments and questions about ferocity, ferociousness, fearlessness in the Silverback, and why I think ferocity is greater than being laid back. So first and foremost, to get to some of you guys who are wanting to experience making more decisions, being more determined, and going after your goals and your dreams, you get it right away that, there's this hey, when you study successful people, there is a certain common themes that they have throughout all successful people, and that is that they eat, sleep, and breathe their dream until they reach it. They eat, sleep, and breathe their dream until they reach it. Reading gets you to truth. Since 99% of us don't want to take the time to read all the books and all the literature out there that ultimately focus on several universal truths, I'm going to dispel some of that for you because I love reading and rereading and reading and rereading the same things over and over and over again that remind me of what I did starting when I was 24, 25. Actually, since I was a kid, I was always looking and seeking and grasping for truth. But when I was 25 to 35, my mentor, got me really zoomed in, focused. And one of the things that he did that was really brilliant was told me to read about successful people, read about high achievers. When you get to one axiomatic truth, somebody says, I measure a man by who he associates himself with. So if you got some young whippersnapper and he might be your son or he might be your son's buddy and he's wanting to ask you about a business idea, and you say who are you surrounding yourself with, and he's surrounded with a bunch of potheads, you're going to think differently than if he's surrounding himself by a bunch of high achievers who have decided that pot interferes with their achievement. And I'm not even going to get into that. Who does somebody surround him or herself with? So high achievers, one of the smartest things that people do that know about success or that find their way to success is that they surround themselves with people who are smarter than them, not people who are dumber. Say that again. Principle number one, surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, not dumber. You can get that through books, you can get that through classes, through teachers, through professors, through mentorships, through parents, through aunts and uncles, whoever it is, it doesn't matter. Find people whom you admire, whom you can look up to, whom you can respect. Now, universal truth. If you want to achieve something, anything, you set a goal, and based on the burning desire that you set as a flame up your butt crack, that's going to determine whether or not you're going to have the rocket blast you up and go through all the hurdles that it takes. It's an emotional content to achieving something, and there's what's called staying power. Listen to the guys who are successful. Since you don't read too much, or if you do read and read and read. Read Dale Carnegie's book over and over and over again, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's all about making an influence in the world, and it's all about achievement. Read Norman Vincent Peale. Read Tony Robbins. Listen to Jordan Peterson. Listen to Dan Pena. Listen to high achievers and pay attention to what they say. Number one, surround yourself with those who are more intelligent and higher achievers than you, and that's going to help you aim higher. Their energy, their momentum, they're telling you their stories about what they did that made them fail and what they did to get them back up on track. There is nothing better than listening to people who are wise. There is nothing better than listening to those who have achieved but there is something terrible about listening and doing nothing. So there is no accident that in top Fortune 500 companies, they select military leaders, those who have been in the military for 5 or more years, as officers who went through officer training, who during their officer training school, they did what every other kid does going to college, but they also had something called leadership. And it's leadership for leading somebody into battle. And these officers are trained like, if you watch the movie 300 and you see how the Spartans trained, they are training themselves to keep themselves alive and to kill the enemy. If you can't handle the metaphor, you certainly can't handle that kind of achievement, and it's not for you. I was watching Jordan Peterson, yesterday, and it struck me about how his just carte blanche support of capitalism as he is, becoming a booming success monetarily and materialistically, and he embraced it wholeheartedly. I've never embraced the kind of monetary gains or even desired any of that, but I also didn't desire the stresses that he put himself under to get to that level. That's not the point. The point is that the guys that are achieving the highest are the guys that are willing to discipline themselves the most. And going back to the Fortune 500 companies, the reason why they're selecting these officers who have been, in charge of branches of their military groups is because they are taught to follow the mission until the end, because they've been tested over and over and over again, and because they are developing the kind of skills that we're having to do after we graduate and get master's degrees and then go to Dale Carnegie schools and then learn all of this other stuff that's they're learning before they're getting themselves put on the front line with a command underneath them. So these Fortune 5, and what are those qualities? Number one is that they're not afraid to fight. They're not afraid to go into battle. They're not afraid to sit in a boardroom and tell a board of directors what they really think. They have developed a sense they have developed a strategy for overcoming their fears. It doesn't mean they don't have fears. Everyone has fears. Everyone has obstacles. Everyone has stuff that falls out of the sky as shit all over them when they're trying to succeed at anything. And some guys are training themselves, disciplining themselves to just love when the shit falls in the sky and see themselves as just plowing right through it until they get to the place where they can achieve the goal, and then they can go and take the shower. While 99.9% of the rest of us, we want to take a shower 20 times along the way and avoid all the shit that's falling. So these guys love to fight. And that's why they are at these high tier levels, because it is a battle. It is not a love fest. It is a competition of will. It is a competition of who's got the most determination. So who are you going to choose? So watching a video with Dan Pena, I think is his name, and Dan was saying that that there's no accident that people in the martial arts and people with military backgrounds are people that are in these Fortune 500 companies. It's because of the discipline. It's the discipline. So if we take some of these lessons, if we study from these guys, what does this translate to in the realm of the Silverback, in the realm of being the badass on the street? So I want to take this into two directions, but whether it's in your business or whether it's in your home life, if you want to achieve anything, you've got to learn how to build up a burning desire from within. If you don't have that burning desire and you're competing with, 100 different guys and the 10 guy and everything else is equal, and you got 10 guys at the top that have this just burning passion, they're going to blow past you, and they're going to get there because their desire is greater. Some of you have been asking me in terms of the Silverback parenting principles. It's the same thing. If you are a mother and you don't have a burning desire to give your child your breast, if you are a mother to be and you don't have the burning desire to give your child what you know instinctively and intuitively is the most optimum conditions for that child to blossom and grow, you need to rethink your values. If you are a father to be or a father and you don't have a burning desire to give your woman the kind of environment that she needs in order to comfortably nurse her child and give that child the environment that it needs so they can blossom and grow, you need to rethink your priorities and values. So burning desire to succeed. If you want to be like any of these other people who are high achievers and you don't have a burning desire, then just accept that you are not meant to be a high achiever and that that's not your place, and that's okay. And then just kind of settle in with trying to figure out, who am I, what do I want, where am I going, and how can being in the middle zone be more acceptable to me. But don't criticize those who had that burning desire that made them push through longer hours. I've been asked over and over and over again, like, what's my routine? What's my routine? What's my routine? I listen to people over and over and over again to find out that 99.9% of them are setting themselves standards and increasing those standards every 6 months, every year, year in and year out. And then once they've achieved this goal, they're going on to the next one, next one, the next one. So I don't have any trouble looking at successful people and bowing my head in praise and recognition, because if anybody's achieved what I've achieved, they've had to work hard. And if anybody's achieved 10 times what I've achieved, they've had to work probably 10 times harder. And I accept that. And I want everybody to let that sink in. When I was a young man and I was starting out with family and I decided I made my decision I wanted to be a writer, I also made a decision that I wanted to have a presence in my family that was unbreakable. I wanted to be one with my wife, I wanted to be one with my children, and I wanted them to understand that I was there. I was not only there for them, I was there to set the rules and the boundaries for them, and that was really critical for me. I knew that money was not my primary objective. It wasn't my primary goal, even though I also knew that whatever pennies I could save, I would save them to invest into property as a means to securing income from property as I progressed in life. So the life of the writer is the life I chose. The life of putting my center at the seashore is the life I chose. And it required an immense amount of difficulty to accomplish the life that I did accomplish. And along the way, I learned to discipline myself as a writer. And as my mentor would tell me, and I would tell myself now that I can look back, I never did enough. You never can do enough. You never will do enough. You've got to be able to go from having the teacher point the finger at you to you point the finger back at yourself and be honest with yourself and say, hey, what is it that I want to accomplish? I personally want to accomplish a certain level of writing. I want to accomplish publishing a certain quantity of books over a certain period of time. I also want to accomplish a certain level of educational videos over a long period of time. I also want to participate in the dialogue with others in this educational process to help young men and women become better acquainted with what it means to be a man and what it means to be a woman, and not be embarrassed or afraid to represent that which they were born into, and to achieve great success in their choosing of a partner, in their mating and marriage, and in their business life that allows them to live the life that they want. Those are some of the things that I have a strong burning desire to accomplish. And in the next part of this video, I'm going to tell you some of the details that go into the discipline to get those things accomplished, and what I want to do after that. Part one of you got to have a burning desire if you want to achieve anything. Namaste.